deer. A decapitated deer. Via post-mortem. Special Agent Chi in attendance. First responder noted a peculiar, bizarre, moist residue on the victim's face. But where else would it be? I will first conduct a friction-rich analysis to discover any latent fingerprints. Fingerprints. I don't even know him. And he's dead. Rip. Please note that I stole that gag from an episode of The Animaniacs. I think Hercule Yakko, an episode from 93. Remind me to confirm that when I get back to Quantico. For now, I will place you down in order to record my voice. This record, the VI analysis, so that no stone is left unturned. Or, in this case, no dough. Friction-rich analysis. Dusting for prints. Rose and hibiscus petals powdered down. Rose and hibiscus. Crimson and clover. Tommy James and the Chantels in 1968, I believe, though of course I'm referencing the seminal Joe and Jett classic from 1982, or Cher. But that is enough trivia for now. Friction-rich analysis. Note that I will be dusting the face of the victim. There is a partial island on the left cheek. It looks like bifurcations on the lips. ridge endings on the right cheek of the victim's face. A lot of partials. Nothing I would say to draw a conclusive ID. And furthermore, there is this. Bizarre residue, as noted by the first responder, makes getting a print problematic. What happened to you? Fluid could be a discharge of some description, sinus leakage, perhaps even semen. But it's the wrong texture, the wrong consistency, the wrong viscosity. No. I'll now take a look for visual, physical indications. What might have happened to you? Cause of death was posited to be decapitation, but I got a feeling that was post-mortem. All right. I intend to become a little more familiar with the victim's head. More the obtuse, moist discharge. Pupils fixed, eyes dilated, as if there was a chance you'd be okay, like those chickens or roosters that carry on running around after they've already lost their head. But we all lose our heads from time to time, don't we? That was a note to the listener, not to the decapitated head. Flesh is a rigidity consistent with rigor mortis or prolonged exposure to the elements. Hair is meshed with flesh. Hair and gore go together like chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese. Personal note remind me to examine the etymology of the phrase chalk and cheese. Who consumed that? Perhaps it was an effort to fatten out the quantity of cheese. Or perhaps to smooth the chalk. What kind of cheese? Hard cheese. Italian hard cheese. Perhaps. Soft cheese, like a brie. The consistency of the fluid. It reminds me of wax, perhaps even a preserve, or brie. There are no peripheral indications of damage to the victim that would have occurred post-mortem, apart from the decapitation. But there's almost a blissful peace in the expression, which would of course indicate some knowledge of the perpetrator, or that they were dead before they knew it. One is considerably worse than the other. For your sake, decapitated head, I hope that it was the latter, that your head hit the ground before you knew you were gone. That was a note to the decapitated head, not to the listener. Please ignore. Oh. How strange. What I thought may have been a partial print appears like the impression of scales, as if the dough shed its skin and became something greater in some obtuse, occult apotheosis. What happened to you? What secrets lie behind those cold, dead eyes? I need to sate my curiosity. No, nothing. Around the mouth, more of the odd residue, and more of the scaly impressions. Perhaps the victim is in fact reptilian by nature, and like the leopard gecko, can, under times of stress or danger, completely detach their own head as a defense mechanism, so the body can run away to safety and grow a new head. But that wouldn't make much sense. Not much sense. Note for listener. The agent will now take samples for DNA comparison and analysis. But I will begin with the strange discharge. One from each side. Please note that the agent has misplaced the evidence bags. Oh, phew. I thought I was going to have to carry it back to Quantico like this. Sample of strange residue taken. Proceeding to take sample of saliva. Open wide. That was a joke. Sample of saliva taken, but may be compromised with inclusion of unusual moisture. To compensate, and take a sample of wax from each ear. Open wide. That was the same joke. Precisely the same viscous fluid presents in the ears as well. What are you? I'll try the other one. Oh. A significant amount. And a hair. Please note for the record that DNA sampling may be possible from hair samples. I will tweeze the minimum 25 samples required from different portions of the victim's face and head so that we can perform an effective comparison. I apologize. Chalk and cheese. One sample taken from left-hand side. Two. proceed to the right hand side. One, maybe more. Two. Three. Four. Five. Six. Seven. Eight. Nine. 10. 11. 12. And to complete the frustratingly odd number, 1 from around the facial cavity, mouth. Perfect. All DNA samples collected for hopefully effective screening and cross-comparison. But I am still perplexed by what happened to you. Hello. Is there anyone in there? Odontology. Teeth. Perhaps you may yet speak your truth. I'll begin the examination by opening the mouth somewhat. Teeth appear in good condition, but there is an exceptional amount of the residue in the oral cavity. It appears will blow me down. I believe I have found the perp. The one who has done all this to you. Pardon me. I've solved the case. No, that's not true. Not the murder, or whatever it was. The case of the unusual, viscous discharge or residue all over the victim's head. I believe I mentioned Rome during my ramblings, and Helix pomadia, I believe. The Roman snail, particularly large one. I knew that they grew big, but if it wasn't for the helix, I could have thought that you were an African giant. But no. An unusually large garden snail was found under the victim's soft palate towards the roof of the mouth, back of the throat, which accounts for the excess of unusual fluid. No one knew exactly who she was or how she died. But when they opened up her purse, they found a snail inside. The residence, moisture, 1980. Remind me to confirm that back at Quantico, the commercial album. Seminal. Unlike the residue turned out to be. Well, I think that concludes the cranial examination post-mortem, the VI. And although I've made a little friend, I'm afraid I don't think we're any closer to finding out what happened to you, my friend. For now, until the DNA analysis comes back, I'll have to give Quantico another cold one. And a cold one sounds like a good idea. I know you're just ahead. But I think I've got to make like you and head out. Thank you for the friend. And I hope that we find the missing piece of the puzzle. And I hope we find the rest of you and are able to put you back together. For now, sleep tight.